And welcome back to episode 2 of the virtual holiday music camp. Yes, episode 2, season 1, episode 2. And we are in for a treat. You are in for a treat because we have none other than the one and only glorious, let me find her here, Joanie Manero there.
Thank God
Wait,
for that.
we got to give a big round of applause. Yeah, give it up for Joanie, everybody. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Listen to those people. They just can't get enough of you, Joanie. All right. And maybe we can have Joanie open up with a song and take it away.
Sure. Thank you, Robert. Good afternoon, and welcome to the virtual holiday music camp. This is our first time, and we're very excited to do this for you. And I think it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we're going to talk today. You have a little handout there for you to fill in some information. We're going to talk about forming a medley because a lot of people say, I don't know how to form a medley. I don't know what to choose. And there's definitely some criteria. And then on the same hand, there's no criteria, which you'll find out today in what I'm doing. So you can figure out how to do a medley with easy points. One is similar type music. So two songs that go together, for instance, like Cabaret and Mame. And I'm going to give you a couple examples here. I'm going to go to March, and I'm going to go to Thundering. This is the service songs, and this is kind of interesting. And I won't do the intro for you. I'll just show you a couple of the service songs. Let's get rid of that. Here we go. So that's an example of putting the service songs. You can actually do all of the service songs, which I do normally, but for the brief time that we're together, I just kind of want to give you a couple ideas. The next thing I'm going to show you, this is pretty neat. I took, sometimes you don't think of a song until you hear it, but I went to Dream Kiss, and this is pretty neat. So Dream Kiss is made for a kiss to build a dream on, okay? But the other song that's perfect with Dream Kiss to be a medley is Gonna Make Your Brown Eyes Blue. But they fit together perfectly. Take a listen to this. This is Dream Kiss. The whole thing for you because I feel that a lot of people may not know this song. Here we go to Brown Eyes. You come back, if you want to make it a nice medley, come back to the first one you started. So that's another two songs that go great together. So similar type music for service songs. Thank you, Robert. Cabaret and Mame if they were Broadway tunes. March polkas go great. You can play a bunch of marches or polkas together, and that works too. Point number 2 is if something uses the same rhythm. Then I'm going to show you one of those medleys where you do Somewhere My Love or any other type of waltz that you know on that. And then I'm going to do the Sweethearts Tree. And that works real nicely too. So let's take a little listen to that. Sweetheart's Tree. So there's a couple of things that you can do with your medley. You can return back, as you heard me do on A Kiss to Build a Dream on. In between, when you're playing the second song of the medley, you want to change your sounds. In the service song medley, you want to get a different sound for each one, just so that you're there. Like Walk the Line and Bye Bye Love in country, they work great together as well. And then my third point is lyrics, whether they're similar or opposite. And you're going to see that today with the medley that I'm going to be presenting to you, because Silver Bells talks about city sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday gear. So it's getting everybody kind of revved up for Silver Bells.
So,
And
Joanie, can I
then,
ask you a quick question?
sure,
Does this look right, what you just said?
yeah,
Point one.
perfect.
Okay, so if you have the handout, that's what she just said. I'm just going to leave that up here for a
And then
second.
the same rhythm music style from my example was waltz.
Waltz. Okay. Of course, I got to.
And then in the lyrics for when you get to Silent Night, you went from a busy daytime time with Silver Bells, and you get to Silent Night. Now we're coming to the end of the evening, and we're slowing everything down and moving into the real meaning of Christmas, of Silent Night. So that I'm going to be showing you in just a minute, but they're the points. And I put 4 points up there, because 4 bullets, because I wanted to know if you had any ideas of how you form a medley. Do you have any criteria for that? So I thought I would open that up as a question to see if anyone could respond to that. How do you choose a medley? It doesn't have to be 2 songs. It could
I
be
have a
3
hand
songs.
raised here. You can't see her.
Great.
Let me just see what she has to say, and I'll translate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually do medleys with Latin music. The Belgian is fantastic to go from one song to another.
Oh,
And I use an FX to continue to wait until I get
okay.
the pages and get there, because
I'm going to just hand you this because I don't know if I can repeat everything you just said. You got 10 seconds.
I said I used Latin
Point it.
songs,
Wait.
the Belgian,
Point it like that.
Belgian rhythm. And it goes from one song to another, because a lot of the Latin songs use that rhythm, or bossa nova. And I use FX to move from one song to another, to let me the time to go from one to the other.
Okay, did you catch all that?
I didn't catch the beginning.
Yeah, the
Did
volume. She said begin.
Begin.
She uses
Oh,
the begin.
keeping Latin songs together.
Putting Latin songs together like the begin.
Absolutely. And the fill is a very nice way to move and groove from one song to the next.
Same key.
Same key, that's always very helpful. Although if it's not, and you're going to see that in 2 copies today of Silver Bells, one's in the key of C, one's in the key of B flat. I'm going to work with the key of C because Silent Night is in the key of C. However, when we go, there are chords called transitional chords, and we talk about that here at the Sun City location of what chord to use to get from one key to the next. So that's a different workshop for a different
Someone
day.
in the chat said something about same tempo.
Say that again.
Someone in the chat, she put it to me, but it was same tempo,
Same tempo. Yes.
written in the same chord was another thing she added.
Yes. Very good. They're very good ideas. That's why I left a blank point there so you could fill in either what your idea was or what someone else suggested that perhaps you might have thought of at that moment. So that's very good. So now we're
Oh,
going to talk about changing sounds. So when you do a medley, it's important all the time, whether you're making an arrangement or not. If even if you were in a conductor magic class and you were playing the Saints, if you're going to play it twice in a row, so go back and repeat it, then you really want to choose a different sound because that makes the difference between a song and an arrangement. Once we change our sounds, we have an arrangement. Now, we can use, coming from the music styles that we have, we can use style setups. And on many of the instruments, you have 0 through 8 or 0 through 10 or 0 through 5. So the sounds sit right in front of you on the instrument. For instance, the Easy 10 references 0 through 5. 0 is when the style setup button is lit, but no numbers are lit. So that's considered number 0. So you see 10 buttons here, but we really have 11 because if none of these numbers are lit, we have number 0, which makes us to have 11 instead of 10. Does that make sense to you?
yes.
And we like to use the style setups or rhythm presets is the older terminology for that, because those sounds are right there in front of you. You don't have to go looking for them. But if you don't have that, there's a way to do it. And I'm going to give you a little hint today on the Easies and the SD model instruments for how you can pre-get what you want and then turn that sound off, and then when you're ready for it, turn it back on and it'll be right there. So I'll talk about that in just a little bit. And then we also have the option, you heard Carrie talk about that in the earlier session, of all the category setups. The categories are incredible, and they take sounds, similar, relatable sounds, and that's a whole different set that you can use if you're not choosing. Maybe you find a rhythm you really like, but you're not really hepped up on the style setup sounds that it gave you, in which case you go to your categories and you find a group of category sounds that um, you love and that are diverse, a little bit diverse. For instance, my favorite category, excuse me, is love songs. Just incredible, beautiful, beautiful sounds, and it works for so many types of music. Incidentally, back up to talking about how do you make a medley, your Christmas songs that are relatively about the same tempo and about the same rhythm style or music style as we call it. Lots of those. You're either in a 3/4 or 4/4 in the Christmas song. So you can put a lot of those and just go like page to page and put them together. Use your fill in between, and there you have yourself a medley. So it's not nearly as complicated, I guess, as people have thought in the past. The next step is the major seventh chords. And major seventh chords are pretty important. They're kind of like a jazz chord. Major seventh chords are not the same as regular seventh chords. Major seventh chord, you go one key, one half step, one key, black or white, to the left of the chord name, and that makes you a major chord, a major seventh chord. So that's good to know. It only requires 2 fingers, as does a regular seventh is 2 fingers, and a diminished chord is only 2 fingers. So it's very easy for you to do it. I don't tell people they have to memorize it at all. I suggest if you don't know which 2 notes you're going to use, write it above the chord so you have it right there and you can read it. Also, I don't go by letters. What I teach here in our muscle memory class is that you should go by finger numbers and trust your fingers. So I know if I'm going to play a D minor, D is in dog, I'm going to use my finger 4 and finger 2. And they'll be sitting on the correct keys, so I don't have to think about what letter I need to know. So it's really nice if you don't know your major sevenths, go ahead and write them in, but write your finger number as well so that you know what you're doing for that. So I have on the next section, I have a special introduction for Silent Night. And actually, we're going to do Silver Bells first. But when we get to the Silent Night, we want to declare the song. And you can declare the song with just by starting at the beginning. However, I think it's a nice little introduction. If we go to the second page, and the lyrics are sleep in heavenly peace. We're going to start there and play those 3 lines, and then we'll go back to the beginning of the song and play through it. So that makes a really nice introduction to that song in the medley. Does anybody
So,
have any
Joanie,
questions?
I
Yes.
just make sure I'm going to put up on. I was trying to put up on the screen what you were saying. So this is the end of Silent Night, right? So you're saying start.
I can't see what you're doing because I have my blank bullet sheet listed there from you.
Oh, I got the wrong one. Sorry. Let me.
No worries.
Yeah, you ever push the wrong button? I know you
Yeah,
guys don't
all
do
the
that.
time, as you well know.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me get the right one. Here we go. I'll get it straight. I'll get it straight. Let's see. Let's see. Does it say Silent Night now?
Yes,
Okay. So this page here, you're saying?
correct.
So
Right
s-
there.
All right. So I'll leave it here and then say what you said again, and I'll just follow you.
So we want to start there as the introduction to that song. And then when we finish the page, we'll go back to the beginning. So we're starting with sleep in heavenly peace.
And then you're going to go back to the beginning of where?
So right there where you were is the G chord.
Oops. Right here.
You're making me dizzy. Go up 1 line. There you go. Measure 2. Nope. There.
Stop right there.
Right there.
Okay.
So it's measure 2 on line 2. So that's
Okay.
going to be our introduction.
Okay. And
Okay.
then after that is the introduction. You're going to go where?
Then I'm going to go back to the beginning.
For this
And I'm
song?
going to use the built-in. I think I'm going to use my built-in, or maybe not. It's
Okay.
up to you. You can use it. One of the things I liked about this is that everybody has waltz. It's just a matter of which particular waltz you choose. I have, on this particular instrument, I have 22 waltzes. So you may not have that many, but you have different waltzes. So I'd like to give you some ideas because there's a vast number of instruments owned among you. So I want to talk about on the SD Freedom 3, we want to use 3/4 guitar waltz. And that is your second rhythm listed on the Freedom 3. That's for Silent Night. But for Silver Bells, which we're starting with on the Freedom, you want to use your easy waltz. And then we're going to go find crystal bells. Then I'll tell you about that. Then when I go to guitar waltz, it's going to be the same tempo. And I'm going to go to some vocals, choir ooh, and then I'm going to add a trio harmony, which is beautiful.
Okay. So is this the right? Did I put the right screen up this time?
Perfect.
That's the Freedom 3.
Perfect.
And you're to the next one yet or no?
Yep. On the easy instruments, we're going to go to 3/4 guitarist. That's the guitarist performer, because we have a full band, a pianist, and a guitarist. So we're going to go to the guitarist performer. And again, we want to use crystal bells. And then later on, we're going to add string 8, which will give it a little body to the bells. And then on Silent Night, when I go into Silent Night, I stop it for the introduction and just turn on the easy button so I can use the choir and the AOC harmony on the Lowry Easy instruments. Great job, Robert.
I'm learning.
And on the symphony, which is what I'm on right
No,
now.
you're supposed,
I'm sorry?
don't mind me.
Okay. You're a little more faint than you were in the sound check.
Go ahead.
If you can turn yourself up a little bit. So in the upper end instruments, of course, I'm going to be calling that up right now.
Come on,
So
Robert,
just
move it up.
give me 1/30 seconds amount of time or less. And I'll have it here for you.
Is this right, Joanie?
I'm coming.
Can you move it up a little?
Move it up.
Yeah, right there. Nope. Yeah.
You're not on the fill yet, right, Joanie? You're just on the setup for
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I did love songs to start. I did for Silent Night, but not for Silver Bells. Silver
Okay.
Bells, I started with crystal type bells. And actually, they're hand bells. Okay. So take a listen to this in just a moment, but let's go on to the fill while you still have that there, Robert. Let's just talk about the fill and why we use a fill, or I should say not why, but when. When's important. You're going to use a fill when you have a long tie. You're going to use a fill prior to a new section of the song. You're going to use actually use the fill when you lose your place. That's a good one. I always use the fill before I touch the ending. So it's a little more final than just an ending. And then also I use the fill before I'm changing my sound. So there's some ideas for how and when. There's no real rhyme or reason for that. It's, when you have a moment to use it and do it, it just fills in beautifully, and it fills in with things that we may not be able to do ourselves. So hopefully you'll get some good use out of your fill on the other instruments. The prior classic instruments, the fill was called the FX. So that's what yours may be called. And then we'll cover memorizing presets a little later. But I want to play this for you now and let you get an idea of what I did. And then I'm going to talk about what happened. That could be user error if you're trying to record yourself. And I'll tell you what my mistake was, just because I didn't have the knowledge until just recently. Thank you to Robert. So let's take a listen. We're going to start with Silver Bells, and then we're going to go into Silent Night. Okay, I think I got it all going on here. All right, here we go. And I have this set up so I don't have to go find my sounds. That's why I wrote in there memorizing presets, and we'll briefly speak about that in just a moment. Here we are. There's my fill. Echo. Really take your time on that, if you will.
Standing ovation here. Oh my gosh. It was that last little chord progression that you did that put it over the top.
Thank you. It's a beautiful medley, and it really is very diverse because it starts out busy streets, shopping, this and that, and then you come to what it's all about, which is calm down, take your time, and we tend, I will say, in all the people that I work with here, and even myself, sometimes you tend to rush toward the end. Sometimes I think it's just as a hobbyist, you're so blessed happy to be getting to the end of it that you would just prefer to get there. But when you take your time, like I didn't rush this. I'm on no tempo. Let there be musical silence. It's a beautiful thing. Musical silence. Here we are again. Just holding the love vocals. So you really can take your time on that and make it a very beautiful, beautiful ending. Is there any questions? I should look at my group here as well. We have people visiting us, and I'm looking at the screen and looking at the organ, and I'm never looking at them. So do you guys have any questions? You do? Yes, so that's on your sheet as well. The
What's the
special
question?
ending, and this is
What was the
very,
question,
very.
Joanie?
I'm sorry.
What was her question?
The question was, what did you do at the end with the special chords?
Oh, yes. Gotta know.
So the last chord for me was I was on F, I think. So I started on F, E minor, D as in dog minor, C sharp, and then C.
So say that
Let me
again.
show
Where
you
did
that
it
if I
start?
can.
I got it up on the screen. Where did it start?
The very, 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 very end.
So if I move this where, right here?
Oh, up, up, up.
Up.
Go
where?
down to the very last line.
Right here?
Last line.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong screen again. I was. Hold on. Hold on. Give me a second. I'll get it right. Let me see. No, I have two different screens. I had the wrong one on there.
So here's the chords in easy play as well. Go all the way down.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I had the wrong screen shared. Okay, this one here?
Yes, all the
Okay.
way. So
Keep
when I
going.
hit instead of hitting the C, I hit the C by itself as the melody. Just hold it as long as you want. And then I touch F, E minor, D as in dog minor, C sharp, and then the final. C chord is the last one.
Okay, hold on a
F,
second. So I
the
have
F
F,
chord,
E minor, D
D
minor.
minor,
What was the last one after D minor?
C sharp.
Oh. Can I just hit the C sharp note? Yeah, there we go.
Yep, that's right.
All right.
And
Okay.
then C.
All right, bear with me here. I'm doing this live here.
No,
Okay.
yeah, there you go.
All right, so I'm going to put the C here, move this over here. Is this the right positioning, would you say?
It can be any position because you have no rhythm, so you're taking as long as you want. And
Okay.
that's called a walk down, where I'm just walking down each chord.
How does that look? Pretty?
Beautiful. So you can take as long as you want to do that, because now even yourself as a player, but anybody who might be listening, they're on the edge of the seat because they know this is the ending. It's very final. So take your time. Let the voices sing. Give it a pause. Thank you. Thank you. I hit an E. They said, what did I hit on the top? Instead of saying on the C, when I'm going to be final, I just went up to an E. And you can hold the C as well. It's a little more final than the high C. And I do have one question for everyone who's watching. Do you know how to obtain musical silence in your chords? Because that's important to know. Anybody here know? No. No, the way you can get the musical silence in between the chords, nope, I didn't have a rhythm on, so there's nothing to stop. Listen. So what I did is I took off the memory. I only have MCS on, the chord system at the time. No memory. So when I take off the memory, it's silent when I want it to be silent. And that's exactly what I want for this special ending for Silent Night. Any questions?
Yeah, can I borrow your fingers for a week? I'll promise to return.
No,
them.
but you can borrow my shoes for your feet.
Okay, there we go.
Anybody have any questions?
Any questions
No?
out there in virtual land?
What were those spinal cords again?
You want to put that up on the screen, Robert?
Sure. Let me find that. I hope I get
Where's
the
the
right screen.
key for taking off the musical memory?
It's next to the MCS button.
Okay.
Okay. Do I have the right screen there? Let's see. There's the
Yes.
F chord, E minor, D minor, C sharp, and C.
And she goes up to an E on the right hand.
And I go on it up to an E on the right hand. That
On
is
the right
correct.
hand, she goes up to an E. Right here at the end. So I guess
And
I could. Yeah.
You're
Now
good.
you're going to make me draw this in real time here. Oh my goodness, you guys are really making it tough. Let's make that small. This is no
It's the
extra
top-
Where were
charge
the
to this.
extra notes in the song, Joni?
It's the top space, Robert.
I got to get this thing looking.
I'm sorry. What
Wasn't
was the
ex-
question?
I wasn't expecting this. Every good boy does.
You
Fine.
had several extra keys, notes in the as you were playing Silent Night.
I had harmony on.
Okay, thank you.
I had a block harmony when I was using the love vocals.
There.
So if you turn that on, you don't really need to play extra notes. But if I play the notes that the block harmony is going to add, then I'm getting double. So it's a little bit stronger, which is nice. And I want to thank you for having me here today. I hope you enjoyed that medley, and I hope you'll try it out. And you can always call me with any questions you might have. Thank you, Robert.
Okay, did you want to talk about memorizing presets at all?
Yep,
But
very
guess what?
briefly.
I have something for everybody and you. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
So in my handout for my music for my class, it really applies to any of the classes that the instructors are talking about. You're going to see this attachment on saving presets.
Beautiful.
So, because I know everybody's always asking.
Yes.
So this is like a very quick, how do you save presets onto the organ? How do you save it onto a USB or even a disk drive? And then I picked a bunch of owner's manuals that here are the pages that you can find it on.
Excellent.
So if you download my class materials, it's included in that sheet. That'll work for anybody that, any of these classes that we're teaching, they're talking about saving these setups. There you
That's
go.
great. So on that bullet where it says memorizing setups,
Let me go back to, oh,
just
you're
put
on your
just
sheet?
yeah, just put refer to Robert's handout.
Okay, there you go.
It's a very easy process though. You touch the memorize button and then you touch, I always use A, so A1, and you go up to the screen with transpose, with style. You just touch it so they say yes and turn out the memorize button and you're done. Very simple. Once you've done it. It doesn't sound simple because it takes a lot of words, but once your fingers have done it, it's not a problem.
That was a wonderful class. I even
Well, thank you
learned,
very much.
I just got to learn how to do that little C sharp progression thing. Well, are you going to close off with the nice song today?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Thanks
so
again,
Joanie's-
Robert.
You're welcome. Oh boy, give a
Merry
big round of
Christmas.
applause. Oh my goodness. That's everybody from around the world applauding. Oh my goodness. I gotta come back over here. All right. Well, and for those of you out there, let's give it up for Joanie Manero. I did my applause. Now you got to do it better than me. Let's see here. All right. I see a bunch of hands clapping, but they're muted, so you can't hear them. All right. Well, that was episode 2, season 1, virtual holiday music camp, episode 2 with Joanie Manero. And the handout that you're going to get after, by the way, is going to have all of that information filled in case you weren't taking notes. But sometimes we like to do that to make the students have to take notes. We like to see if they're paying attention, right? So the next episode is starting up in about 35 minutes with Mr. Joe Fontesha, and I see him in the background there. Look at that. He's got his white jacket on and pink shirt with a black bow tie. And so we'll see you guys in 30 minutes. I'm going to stop the recording officially. And